It's so hot today, but I gotta prep. It's Friday and I want to prep, make sure that I've got some prep going on for the next few days. I want to make some rice and I want to make some beans. And I'm going to show you what I've been doing to completely change my life and just make sure that I have rice and beans ready and my house doesn't get too hot. So I'm going to show you some of the tips that I have learned to make sure that I still am having rice and beans and having all the good stuff, but without the hassle of having the house so hot, because it really did make a difference. When I was cooking beans in the stovetop, it was making my house so hot that I was like, I'm just going to eat fresh fruits and vegetables and I'm just going to juice. But that wasn't realistic because I wasn't getting too full. I really wanted to figure out what I can do to make rice and beans super easy for me. So let me show you how I do them. Because I want to make a quick juice for us. I love making beverages for myself when I'm about to start cooking. I get a little parched. So I'm still using the vintage equipment. I don't care. A lot of people are using the Nama juicer and all those crazy stuff. Kudos for you. I will just use the normal juicer. I've got these oranges. They're so delicious looking. And I can't wait to squeeze them up. This is one of the best ways to get some quick sugar in the body. At least for me, it's a great coffee replacer. This just replaces coffee. You just need glucose, to be honest. I think what people really are looking for in that coffee is the sugar, because our bodies are sugars. We're sugar divas, just like the Banana Girl says. We're sugar divas. Our brains are sugar divas. And we love sugar. There's nothing wrong with sugar. The only thing that's wrong with it is consuming it at huge doses of in a processed way, and two, not having a balance. And the top three reason that can be very harmful for you is if you combine sugar with fat. Anything with fat, like lard, shortening, all that stuff is going to really mess up your health. And packing the weight, just like happens to me whenever I eat unhealthy food, I always pack in some weight. As you can see, I look like I gained a few pounds because I've been eating all that vegan junk food. Gotta stay away from it. Some people can eat whatever they want and show no signs, but I'm not like that. As soon as I eat fat, I gain all the weight, all of it. I gain it. Like my body just stores it as its fuel for any phantom that will come. To some other people, it doesn't really do much. And there's our juice. Don't forget to get that glucose in, because it's going to power our brain and we're going to feel good. We're going to feel alive. This is the reason why most people feel super bubbly and they're like happy and all this shit. And some people are like, oh, I feel like death. Blah, blah. It has a lot to do with the amount of glucose you're consuming and what kind of glucose you're consuming. You want to consume the highest, most best quality of glucose possible, and that is coming from fruit. So I wanted to show you what I'm going to do with these orange peels. It's very simple. I'm even going to leave the pulp. So I've got some alcohol, about 70. You want 70 or 90. The straw's a little big. What I like to do is I like to get alcohol, and I like to use my peels and completely submerge the alcohol with the peels. Hopefully this whole bottle can do it. Okay, so I'm adding 1 bottle of alcohol. Just gonna put plastic wrap on it. Okay. So I like to completely submerge it and seal it really well. I want to do this fast because I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I kid you not. What I'm about to do, girl, the beans and the rice, girl, you're going to be surprised. It is so easy. So easy. you're gonna be like, what? You put the food there and you go do something else and done. Done. Life's good. The house is still fresh. It's good. So I'm gonna put this on top of my fridge and I'm gonna leave it there for like 3 months or however long. What we have here today is some short grain rice. It's one of my favorite rices of all time. Let me get closer so you can take a look. Oops, I dropped some on the floor. Those are for the homies, for the dead homies that I don't have. This is what I wanted to show you because this is my game changer of all time. And I know somebody else has showed you about this before because this is not a new information. This is just, like I said, once you start practicing cooking and stuff like that and you start thinking, oh, I need this, oh, you want to problem solve your problems, you start to develop these knowledge, these thoughts. Like you're not even copying anyone. You're just getting this knowledge. It's coming out of you. So one of the things that I received was buying an Instapot and a rice cooker. I've heard many people talk about it. They've always said, hey, get an Instant Pot, get a rice cooker. I've always heard about it. I never really did it because I wanted to be like an original chef, a chef that does everything manually. But I realized that a smart chef is a chef that has tools, and those tools are used for specific jobs. And it doesn't matter what type of tool it is, it just matters that you have the tool. Kind of like a mechanic. A mechanic is a mechanic because they have the knowledge to fix a car, but they also have the tools. You need the tools. It comes with the tools. It goes hand in hand. You can't be just a mechanic and not have any tools. You can't just be a chef and not have any tools. You need tools. You need a knife. You need to know some basic knowledge of knife skills, and you need to know some basic knowledge of machineries that you need to use for your cooking and all these things. So that's what I love about being a chef is you get to learn how to be an orchestrator of the kitchen. And if you want to know what Instant Pot I'm using this one. It's called Instant Pot Duo, and it has like a red A and a red circle. And that is the one that I'm using. That's the one that I recommend anybody else use because it's good enough. It works, and it's for, if you're cooking for yourself or for two people. It doesn't make too much. It only has about 4 cups of stuff. First thing I want to do is measure out my rice. 1, and I like to do 2, no more than 2. It can pour out. I actually put my rice in the fridge because in the summer there's little moths and stuff that love to sink in and nest into the rices and the grains. So I think they're very important to have in the fridge. Do not forget that. If you have space, add your rice, add your whole grains, your oatmeal, put it in the fridge or the freezer. So what I like to do with my rice is I like to soak it a little bit. I don't have time to soak it that much because I wanted to do this, video step by step and show you step by step. So that's why I'm not going to have time to soak it that much. But what I usually do is I'll soak it in water for like 2 minutes or 3 or 5 or something. But we're not going to do that today. And the reason why I do that is it makes sure that there's no leftover starch. A lot of people like to rinse it over and over and over and over, and I think that depletes it from its protective starchness. Then it makes the rice stickier when you cook it. So I wouldn't recommend people doing so much rinsing. Just one rinse, soak it for a couple of minutes, and then remove the water. I'm adding 2 cups. Now, I do a 1-to-1 ratio every single time when I steam. But just in case you don't do it 1-to-1 ratio, I definitely recommend that you do 1-to-1 ratio because when you steam, it's completely different from doing it on the stovetop. And as a chef, I speak as a chef because I have that chef mentality. I was taught as a chef. The chef in the culinary world, you're taught how to do stuff in the stovetop because that's just how things roll that way. But I am changing that up as I learn more about cooking. So what I want to do to this rice is very simple. I'm going to make kind of like a Spanish rice. It's a yellow rice. I like to add a yellow seasoning of my choice. I usually get this one, Chef Manito. This one has MSG. It's the reason why I stopped using it for a while, but now at this point I do not care about MSG if it's in my rice every now and then. I really don't care about that seasonings. There's more important things to worry about, like eating meat, saturated fats, heavy oils, fried foods, and stuff like that. There's just way more worse things to worry about than to worry about, a little MSG in a seasoning. Use it if it's gonna make you eat the vegetables. Okay, that's what I say. So a little bit of adobo, a little bit of this one. Okay, I'm gonna add some peas and carrots. We give it a little toss. And wow, this rice looks so sexy. All it needs is a little slab of a pepper. And I say pepper because it could just be any color. Look at this. Looks really nice. And it's going to color the rice really pretty. So I put it in my rice cooker. Now, if you don't know how to use it, you just close it. You press the power button and you press the rice that you're going to cook. White, and that's it. Done. Away. See? No more stoves and fussy steps of going into the stove. And I know it's probably easier for some people, but it's hot. You know what I mean? If it's summer and it's freaking hot, who wants to cook? No one. The thing that I want to do is the beans. And I didn't really think about what type of beans I wanted to make, to be honest. I didn't think about that. But I've got all kinds of good stuff here that I would like to show you. That way we can choose together. We have the white bean, which I don't normally make. I haven't made it in a while, but we'll make it next time. We'll make it really good next time. I think what I want is to make a combination of these two. Because last week I made a killer bean soup that I absolutely love. I love making bean soup because you can use the beans to make refried beans or you can use them for something else. But the soup, you can use it like to drink as a tea or to just use it and make it as a soup. I personally just drink it as a tea. It's just so delicious that way. I make things very, very easy for all of us and for myself, of course, because I made the recipes. I make the recipes for myself. These are recipes that you can make in restaurant. They're restaurant level. First thing I'm going to do is level up my beans. So I have here a combination of the red bean, the pinto bean, and the black bean. This is usually my chili bean mix. We're doing 2 cups of this bean mix and about 1 cup of these red kidney beans. These are really good, but I love to mix them up with the pinto bean. For some reason, when they are collectively cooked together, they just taste amazing and they make amazing refried beans. So, which I had last week and I was just like so happy. It was just, I had enjoyable lunches and I just couldn't get enough of it that I have to make another batch. All right, so same thing with this. We'll add water, we'll soak it overnight preferably, or soak it for like 5 minutes and then add the water. Okay, so I'm going to do that to this. Okay, so for our beans, it's very simple. I'm going to add an onion. And because I want to make this easy for all of us, I want you to see that it's so easy to make this. And this is how Hispanics would do it. They would just use a pot. So just add the onion. You add the onion in. And you're going to use this onion when you make the refried beans, okay? So just add your onion. And this, you can save it for stock. This is a piece of celery. I'll just put it in there. I don't normally put celery in beans, but I just have that little piece. It needs to go somewhere. And the last thing I want to add, second to last, is two serranos, which adds spice. Normally, Mexicans don't use pepper. We'll use pepper for certain things, but normally we're using spicy stuff. We're using jalapenos, we're using serrano, we're using different chilies to add that pepperiness. So I'm gonna add a lot of cilantro here because I love to add some type of leafy green. I'm gonna add is just a little bit of coriander seeds. I'm gonna just crush them and add them in there. Literally just like 6 of them, okay? It's a very small amount. I got some marjoram, just a pinch. Literally a pinch. A pinch goes a long way with these seasonings. One good chef used to tell me, this could go a long way. You really want to go less. Less is best. And some cumin seeds. Literally like 6 of them, okay? And ignore anybody that tells you you need to saute these seeds in oil so they can extract the benefits and the nutrients and the flavor and whatnot. All that is BS. It'll cook. You put the seeds in there and they're cooking. The cooking process extracts the flavor, and the same thing is happening pretty much. The only thing you're really doing when you're sauteing your coriander and cumin seeds like the Indians do is you're making infused oil. It almost feels as if when I put lip gloss on and it smears in my mouth and it's all that sliminess, that's how it feels like when you add excess oils to food. In my opinion, that's how I feel. All you have to do is press whatever you want to use. I like to use pressure cook, and all I do is remove the keep warm, and there, that's it, all done. All right, so that's super easy. I'm just gonna leave this and go run my errands and do the things that I need to do. But one thing I want to show you is how to make a delicious salsa without any fuss or problems. This one's gonna finish first. It finishes in about 30 minutes. This one I like to go about an hour. So for this salsa, it's so good. I call this my Pico de Gallo salsa. And the reason why I call it that way is because it has all the ingredients of a Pico de Gallo, but has none of the chopping so that you have to do for a Pico de Gallo, because it usually takes a while to make Pico de Gallo. You got to chop all the ingredients nice and fine. So it kind of takes some time. So I like to skip all that and just make it into a salsa, which is a fresh salsa. You don't have to use any hot stuff. Like I said, I really don't like to cook in the summer, and it's about to get to the summer. We're not fully there. I think we are, but I'm not sure yet. But I don't think we're fully there. It's still May. I think it starts around June, but it's already really, really hot in the place that I live. It gets really hot here. It's like a desert. So I'm going to add about 3 tomatoes to the salsa and a red onion, half of it going in there. The hard stuff goes at the bottom. Softer stuff goes at the top. So I want to add a few serranos. We're going to add a lot of it because I want this to be a nice spicy salsa. You know, some people are afraid of making spicy salsas, but the way to do it is to make it nice and spicy, and then you add a little bit to your food, and that gives it the spice that you need, that you're looking for. You know, that way you're not using so much salsa. There's some people that make salsa and they'll add like a half a cup of salsa in their meal just to make it spicy or just to make it taste good or whatever they're doing. I don't know, but you're wasting your salsa because you're not adding enough serranos or jalapenos. A lot of people use jalapenos for their salsa, and you can use that. It's a little bit more mild, but I like serranos because they have less of a sweetness to them and more of a heat to them, and that is what you need for the good salsa that I'm making here. You see that I almost feel like hesitant to show you because this is like my money making salsa, in my opinion. You know, this is like a money maker, but I'm going to give it to you because not everybody's going to know how to make it anyway. So You can always call me so I can prep for you and sell you some of this salsa. Okay, I'll leave my info in the description below. You can give me email and I can make you some prep. I can sell you some salsa. I can prep you all kinds of stuff. So the last thing that we need is to add cilantro, a little bit of salt, and some citrus. You can use any type of citrus, but for my experience, the best citrus for this salsa is yellow lemon. You're not going to believe how delicious the kitchen smells. This rice is just radiating everywhere like a perfume. It's so delicious. It smells so good. And I hope you make it. So before we add the cilantro, what we want to do is chop up the ingredients. So you want to start pulsing and then you work your way fast. So I'm going to add some citrus, a little lemon here. Now that everything is nice and chopped, I'm going to add my cilantro. And you can use parsley if you don't like cilantro, if you're like allergic to it or something. Or a type of herb, whichever one you want. You can use basil, you can use rosemary, you can use arugula. Okay, I'm going to add some salt. 2/4 of a teaspoon. 1/4 of a teaspoon is pretty good. And now we just give it a little bit of a shake. And there you have it, my secret salsa. Don't you tell anybody about this salsa. You store it in the refrigerator, allow it to get cold, and enjoy it with your rice and beans. See you when the rice and beans are ready so we can have a bowl and taste.
Now look at this fantastic yellow rice. So delicious, friends. I ate all of this in like 2 days. I had to do more prep. Look at this beautiful, amazing beans. I'm just gonna add my salsa on top. This salsa is just so fresh, a little spicy, so delicious. It complements the beans so well. And the mild yellow rice just goes together and balances out. It's so delicious. I hope you give it a try. This is what I call a healthy, well balanced meal. All I need is some greens. And you could also turn this into a delicious burrito. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.